Now that the 2019 NFL Draft is behind us, who are my top 5 rookie running backs heading into 2019? David Montgomery and Devin Singletary have been neck and neck for me, and they continue to be in terms of talent. But it's important to acknowledge that David Montgomery has more of the now appeal, given that Chicago will probably deploy him as the every down back right out of the gate in 2019. They still have Terry Cohen, and he's going to get his in the PPR game. But don't think that David Montgomery can't eventually be a PPR monster in the NFL. While he only had 22 receptions for 157 yards in 2018 at Iowa State, the year prior, he did pull in 36 passes for 296 yards. He's a very capable PPR prospect in fantasy football. Give him a year or two, and he might get to that 40-plus reception total year after year. Montgomery had 11 TDs in 2017, and then he had 13 TDs in 2018. I think he's going to have a nose for the end zone in Chicago. I have no problem projecting 1,000 yards and 8 to 10 scores on the ground for David Montgomery in 2019 with the Chicago Bears. This tackle-breaking machine easily warrants the top-ranked rookie running back spot on your rankings in 2019. Okay, on to number 2, the controversial second running back ranking on my list. All 3 of Jacob, Singletary, and Montgomery could be good at the NFL level. I believe there's an argument to be made for all 3 of these guys going at the 1 spot. But Devin Singletary out of Florida Atlantic enters the NFL with some incredible stats. He had 1,000 yards and 12 TDs in 2016. His second year at Florida Atlantic, he ran for 1,900 yards and ran for 32 touchdowns. Last year in 2018, he ran for 1,348 and 22 touchdowns. He's proved very effective in the passing game in 2016 and 2017. And despite them not using him a ton in the passing game in 2018, Devin Singletary has more than proven his PPR capability in 2016 with his 26 receptions. Like Zeke Elliott, don't hold the PPR usage in college against Devin Singletary. I'm telling you, in 1 or 2 years, Singletary could be one of the best PPR running backs in fantasy football. Now, are the keys to the starting lineup going to be handed to him in week 1? Probably not, but I believe talent will shine through. While I'm ranking him number 2, I think it's really important to acknowledge use ADP to your advantage every single time you draft. Josh Jacobs is getting drafted well above him, so you could trade down if you have the 1.02, or really if you have the 1.05, 1.06, 1.07, you might land Devin Singletary. My ranking of him number 2 is not to suggest to take him number 2, is to tell you this is how I see this running back class shaking out in time. And I'm also addressing the now as we go. So Josh Jacobs is a tough player to rank for me because he only had 640 yards and 120 carries in 2018. He had 11 TDs on the ground, which was really good production given he only got 120 carries. But that offense was amazing. And while I think he's talented and he could translate into the NFL, he was definitely a byproduct of that offense being very, very good. You can't blame the lack of usage on him. They had Damien Harris as well. And they were blowing teams out left and right. They didn't need to run any of their bruising running backs into the ground. But you have to ask yourself, if a running back hasn't done it in college year after year, or at least 1 year, and when I say done it, I mean 640 rushing yards in college last year at Alabama was the most rushing yards Jacobs has ever had in college. The year prior, 284 rushing yards. The year prior, 567. After 3 years in college, he walks away with the biggest season ever, being a 640-yard season with 11 touchdowns. To put that into perspective, in week 9 alone, Devin Singletary accumulated 28% of that total with his 184 yards and 3 touchdowns, and 26% of it in week 6 with 168 rushing touchdowns. And if you add up all of his games where he rushed for 148 yards or more, he surpasses Jacobs' total on the year, bringing Singletary to 671 versus Jacobs' 640. It's important to note he had 20 receptions for 247 and 3. That's a pretty good total, but the usage was really low. His resume is small. We haven't seen him prove it on a huge number of carries during any year in college. So he's a prime candidate to hit a rookie wall at the NFL level, playing 16 games, getting a full workload. I'm not saying he'll get hurt. I'm not calling him a bust. I'm just pumping the brakes on making him my number 1 ranked running back. Now, could I see myself drafting him ahead of Devin Singletary? Sure, because again, it comes down to ADP. These rankings right here are based on my talent evaluation, how I eventually think things will shake out. Doesn't mean I draft them in this order. Jacobs in 2019, as a rookie, he had to find the perfect landing spot and he did. He's got that going for him. That's why you see him number 3. And I'll even tell you, he's very arguable at the 1, 2, or 3 spot for rookie running backs heading into 2019. That's saying something for me to have a lot of doubt, but still say he's arguable at 1, 2, or 3. But so is Singletary, so is Montgomery. I get a lot of pushback on having Singletary 2, but I also got a lot of pushback for having Alvin Kamara ranked as a top 1 to 5 running back for the future during his rookie year. A smaller type back can survive in the NFL, and a guy like Singletary, like Kamara during his rookie year, can surprise some people. Take another look at Devin Singletary's film. Before you have a knee-jerk reaction, I urge you to look at the film. I'll link it down below. No Todd Gurley. No Todd Gurley in 2019. I've been talking about this since January. More writing is now on the wall than ever. Darrell Henderson is a good running back. He's only 5'9", 200 pounds, but he fits perfectly into that Rams rushing attack. Now, will he just flat out unseat Todd Gurley? No. But I predict Todd Gurley to get hurt or for more bad news to unfold every month as we head into fantasy football 2019. The arthritis in his knee won't get any better. Arthritis doesn't get better. It's in the same knee he had ACL surgery in. And he recently said on record that he doesn't even know where his knee will be 6 months from now, that he's taking it day by day. If anybody's holding out hope that Todd Gurley is going to be a running back 1 in 2019, I fear you're going to be extremely disappointed. Now, your one solution is to handcuff Darrell Henderson to your Todd Gurley at all costs. Make sure you reach a little bit for Darrell Henderson, because even in redrafts, guys like me are going to be scooping up Henderson left and right before the Todd Gurley owner even thinks about it. At Memphis, Henderson had 1,900 rushing yards in 2018, 22 rushing TDs, and while they didn't use him extensively in the passing attack, he's caught 20, 24, and 19 receptions in each of his 3 years at Memphis. 1,900 rushing yards and 22 rushing TDs, 25 total TDs in 2018. The guy looks like he's shot out of a cannon on every carry. Watch the film. You're going to be really impressed by Darrell Henderson. Out of all the running backs in my top 5 right here, he probably has the sneakiest future, the most ceiling given the value, the highest ceiling given the cost. As hard as it is to hear this for Todd Gurley believers, Darrell Henderson could be the future of that Rams rushing attack within 1 to 2 years. I don't know if I'd draft him anywhere in the top 5 or 6 overall. He's more of like a 6 to 10 guy, if you even want to take a reach for him. But if you own Todd Gurley and you have a rookie pick outside of the top 6 or 7, you better reach a little bit for Darrell Henderson. It could save your season. Myles Sanders is ranking in at number 5. He's 5'11", 215. Very short resume at Penn State. Really only got going in 2018 where he had 1274 and 9 touchdowns on the ground, 24 receptions for 139 yards. The game logs won't blow you away, but he did average 5.8 yards per carry. He's going into a kind of cloudy running back situation, but out of all the remaining running backs past Darrell Henderson, he kind of has the most appeal. Will Philadelphia continue to do what they've been doing with the running backs the last year or two? Not really utilizing any one of them to their full potential. There's that possibility. I think the 5 spot is a tough one because you could really rank Justice Hill, Bryce Love because of the future value. LJ Scott, still a very big dark horse for me. Benny Snell in Pittsburgh, who knows what happens there. Damien Harris gives New England a kind of running back they haven't had in a long time. They might decide to use Harris between the tackles. Don't be shocked if Damien Harris has a ton of value by midseason. The New England Patriots are very known for flipping running back worlds upside down. Sony Michel also has some knee issues. It's not crazy at all to imagine Damien Harris emerging as the 4th or 5th running back of this rookie class in hindsight. Subscribe, follow, and comment below. Give me your top 5 rookie running backs heading into 2019 and beyond. And spread the word about the show, guys. We're growing really fast. The faster we grow, the more content I can crank out for you. So please spread the word and get some.
Oh, look at this. You gotta be kidding me. You know, you got some set of balls sending me a trade offer like that. You believe this guy?
Like Bacalati.
That's insulting what he's doing. You think it's alright to send me a trade offer like that?
Oh!
You're lucky I'm not sending Paulie and Shill out there. Sleeperu.com. Learn about it.